Suicide. A touchy subject, of course. Suicide rips apart families, destroys communities, and hurts the people that you love, the people that you are closest to. When these things happen, communities come together to grieve and remember the person that they lost. But there is one certain thing I need to talk about today. Male suicide. The only reason I make this agendaed issue is because the men kill themselves 3 times more often than women. That is an insane statistic, and nobody knows why. Nobody spends time or money to investigate why. As a lot of people know, and something that's a bit obvious, is that I come from England, and suicide in England is the biggest killer of young men. It is a disease that ravages our communities, and people don't know why. People don't know why men are having so many of these mental issues. There are charities that have been set up to try and combat male suicide, but they don't have a lot of backing from the government. They don't have a lot of backing from anyone. We try. I consider myself a men's rights advocate, but I don't have money to spend on these things. I wish I could help more than I do. But we need the government's help, which women have, surprisingly enough. There are places all over the world where people try to bring male suicide and mental health into the discussion, but are shut down instantly. There was a university in England, based in somewhere called York. They were recognising International Men's Day and were having a convention which would discuss male suicide and male mental health. The day of the convention, feminists protested and shut down the event. They cancelled it. The same day, a 21-year-old killed himself in the dorms. Why do we act like we don't care about these people's lives? Why do we act like it doesn't matter anymore? If the suicide rate for women was as high as the suicide rate for men, you better fucking believe that there would be millions of dollars being spent on funding to find out why it was happening. Why do men not gain that luxury? It is true. Men have the platform. We're in government, and there are a lot more men in government than women. But the difference is, men do not talk about their issues in government. They talk about their social issues. And not just their social issues, they talk about everybody's social issues. Men do not talk about the things that are harming them, like suicide, mental health. We don't do that when we should. There are weeks at a time that women have the floor to talk about their issues. And some of them aren't even issues. The feminist agenda is full of bullshit. It's not fair. Men need a fair chance. Equality, right? We just want the same that women get, but are shot down. Why? We don't care about men anymore. In England, a man named Philip Davies, an MP in York, he tried to raise the issue of men's health. He wanted Parliament to recognise International Men's Day and use it as a platform to talk about male suicide and male mental health. While he discussed this, Jess Phillips, a self-proclaimed feminist and MP, laughed in his face. She laughed in his face. If this was a man laughing in a woman's face about her issues, he would be torn apart and would be kicked out of Parliament. Jess Phillips is a disgusting excuse for an MP and should be thrown out. She laughed and snickered while a man stood there talking about climbing rates in suicide among young males. How can you even do that as a basic human being? While suicide rates for women slowly decrease, male suicide is increasing at a stable rate. Next time it could be your son, your father, your brother, your grandpa. anybody you love and care about. Suicide's a silent killer. Always has been and always will be. Men's rights are just as important as women's. If you open your eyes to this, you will be greeted by a sea of knowledge. Thank you for listening.